Well, based on some of these early ticket sales, it looks like Superman is a big hit. And we found out David Corenswet is already contracted for a sequel. But now we've got a new report that seems to indicate there's some big plans over at DC Studios, and we might be looking at a new Justice League movie. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about where this report comes from, what it says, and why the Justice League might be suiting up once again. Well, Superman has finally made its way into theaters, and I have to say it's being met with rave reviews. Not only that, the ticket sales are exceeding expectations at this point. So it appears the DCU is definitely getting off to a strong start. Now, Peacemaker Season 2 is only right around the corner, and just down the road are Lanterns, Supergirl, and Clayface. So the new DC universe definitely has a lot going on in 2026. Now, there's some huge questions though in 2027, but we already know James Gunn is writing his next movie, but we probably won't see that for a while, and I'm not betting in 2026. Now, rumors persist that this will be a world's finest movie pairing up Batman and Superman, but I think they might be a bit premature, and we're most likely going to see Batman first in Clayface and then in The Brave and the Bold. Now, recently, the Wall Street Journal published an article revealing the future plans for the DC Universe from Gunn and Safran. Now, apparently the plan is to release 2 live-action movies a year and 1 animated DC film. Now, it appears they're a little less solid on the number of series, which gives them some flexibility. But it seems like the path forward will be slow and methodical. It's pretty clear to me the goal is going to be to reestablish all of DC's best-known characters and eventually working towards a Justice League movie. As a matter of fact, Gunn has already hinted at their project, with Superman laying the basic groundwork for the team and the introduction of the Justice Gang funded by Maxwell Lord. Where David Corenswet shows up next, that's the big question. We do know based on his Vanity Fair interview that he's under contract for a sequel, which is pretty standard fare these days. I actually would be shocked if he's not under contract for several sequels, maybe even 4 or 5 additional projects. Now, given how Marvel Studios does this is pretty normal these days, but it definitely leaves a path open for him to be part of this upcoming Justice League film. Now, at this point, in order for us to get Justice League, this new DC universe is going to have to be a success, and it looks like, based on this opening weekend, that Superman is a great first entry in that process. Honestly, we'll get a lot more clues in the next year. I do believe Lanterns is going to establish John Stewart as this Earth's primary Green Lantern, maybe even displacing Guy Gardner. With Hawkgirl already in play, well, this leaves us very, very close to a version of the Justice League that resembles the animated series, and something, generationally speaking, a ton of fans identify with. Gunn told us earlier on those DCAU films and series were a huge part of his inspiration, and I think this is one of many clues on how this new Justice League is going to come together and who's going to be part of the team. Obviously, we're following this one pretty closely. I really do want to see another Justice League movie, and hopefully one this time that lands big in theaters. I did like the Zack Snyder update, but the one we got last time was a bit wonky, and I have big hopes for the future of James Gunn in charge of this franchise because it feels like he understands comics, he understands the audience, and he understands how to translate it onto the big screen. If he actually takes up the helm on Justice League though, that is the big question, and we're going to have to wait and see. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.